Do I really need all these materialistic things to make my life happier? When you start asking these questions to yourself, you get an answer no. All you need to entertain yourself is nature all around you to help everyone find happiness in tiny things rather than looking for a big happiness.
Thanks for tuning into the Vibrant Soul Society, the conversations. I'm really excited for today's talk with a very special guest, our Vibrant Soul, Devashara. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the conversations.
Namaskaram. Glad to be on your show today.
Fantastic. It's really great to have you here. I'm curious to see where we go today. So let's begin. Who is Devashara?
My real name is Dave Madison. I have been into spirituality since my university days. I used to help people without my interest, so I would just go ahead and help anyone on the street. That's how I was. So after my graduation, landed in India and started working, and I don't know what attracted me here is that the culture and spirituality here fascinated me a lot, and I I got driven into it totally. So I started doing research about spirituality with certain ancient Indian literatures and teachers. So got into there, and from there onwards, as soon as I could strike, I thought I should start something which should certify this person is a spiritual person. So I did my life spiritual life coaching certifications and all this stuff and started helping people through my programs and my courses. Devacharya is the name given by my clients because they think that I'm a person of God. Devacharya is a name, and that Deva means God. Acharya means a person who helps or teaches or gives knowledge to us. So that's how I got that name, and that's how I've been called now.
So you were going through university and life just didn't feel right, or you just felt pulled into a certain direction? Like, what was that pivot point for you?
See, for me, life has never been the same since my childhood. Right? I'm a person who would love to research or be taking all the questions in my mind and I think, why is this? Why is that so? Why it shouldn't be the other way around and all this stuff. So I used to question myself out of curiosity. No one became friends with me at that time because I was always into books. I also love nature a lot since my childhood. So I would talk to trees since my childhood. I do that today also. During my years at today, that I met a professor and we started having conversations about the ancient culture of India. Slowly and steadily, that attracted me, and that drew me into it completely. That there was something I need to learn about it. So I started doing research with the literatures and talking to people from India. So that's how I got into spirituality. But yes, I won't say that. See, for me, spirituality is nothing to do with religion or something. For me, spirituality is me.
Mm,
If I know how to handle myself, that's spirituality. If I know how to be into the nature, how to be into peace with nature, or how to be in peace with others, that's spirituality for me. And I have been doing that. So I don't know exactly when it started, but it was a subtle journey for me. You can say that.
mm.
But yes, a journey with hurdles and challenges, though.
Right. I think it was a spark for you was that curiosity of diving deeper into life. Some people have experiences, but they don't go, why is this occurring? What is this? And I think you had that spark of curiosity that led you onto that path.
Absolutely. That used to amaze me every time. Gosh, this is what I was looking for. I just need to dive deep into it. I never used to leave anything unfinished. But that's who I am, and that's how I was earlier. I wouldn't bother eating until I get my answers. That's how I used to be.
Right, perfect. I really love your definition of spirituality. It's not about religion, it's about us and our essence and who we really are beyond these mental constructs, to see that we are both the creator and the creation of our reality. The deeper aspect, I think it's what you found when you were talking to your Indian associates, your friends, they were looking at some of these deeper explorations. Were they bring any talk about like the Bhagavad Gita or any of the ancient Indian texts?
Yeah, absolutely. I have read Bhagavad Gita, I have read Puranas and Vedas. What I love about these Indian ancient literature is it talks about Brahman. When you talk about Brahman, it's all about you. Everything is within you. If you know how to keep yourself well disciplined with your life, if you know how to listen to your inner voice or your inner self, or I would love to use this word, or eternal self, then believe me, your life is really straight without any hurdles.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a really important point, the Brahman, the essence that is us.
I just want to add to that. When I researched this philosophy or through the Indian ancient text, I came to know when you call yourself Brahman, you need to understand how we've been made or what we are made of for five elements, which is in this universe, right? It's water, fire, sky, land, and universe, right? Space, all these things, it's within you. And you won't believe if you just go into human autonomy and all the stuff, the medical things, that would prove that these five elements are there within
Mm,
your body. That's why you call yourself Brahman, and that's why you are attached to this universe, because the universe is within you and you are the universe.
right, exactly. And that's where people get hung up on this body, this form. I did a little bit opposite of you. You had a slow, subtle approach in discovering Brahman, the truth of the universe. For myself, I was pretty much thrown into it that I was a sick, disabled man. I discovered meditation. Through meditation, I realized I have these thoughts, all these crazy thoughts, but I'm not my thoughts. Then I was just sitting there one day like, okay, I'm not my thoughts. Who am I? So I just sat with this "Who am I?" question for, no, a week or 2, and I just heard a voice say, "Perfect spirit." I'm like, "That's it. My spirit is perfect. It's simply the body, mind that are damaged." Then I just knew all is well. All fear about my health was simply gone, and that was it. Then I went back and did the research afterwards. What did I just go through? What did I experience? Because I was sick disabled, I'm no longer sick disabled because I realized my essence.
No, absolutely. I agree with you because when you get that question in your mind that who am I? That's the first step you're taking towards spirituality. Because that's the question that triggers you to walk on that path, isn't it? Right?
Right.
Because that's the question that even arose in my mind, and that was a start. I can say that was a start. When I say subtle, the reason why I say subtle is because I don't want to say that it was a difficult journey for me or it was pretty aggressive. In my spiritual journey, I have taken each and every hurdle or challenges as a stepping stone rather than looking them at as a hurdle. That's the way I have approached each and every challenges till now, and would love to do that because that makes your life easier to understand and it makes easier to learn more rather than just thinking, oh, that's an hurdle, how I'm gonna cross it, rather than thinking that, okay, this is what has happened, I accept it. This is where I have gone wrong, so I have to do this. When you take that positively, believe me, it's easier for you. It's said that when one door is closed, the other door is open for you.
I think that's a very important point that when we see these challenges, these obstacles, the mind will panic. But if we just come into this moment and we say, okay, what's the next step? Just the next step. Then you act on that step. And as they say, you can move a mountain one pebble at a time. It's always like that. So as you're shifting into this subtle realm, how is your day-to-day life changing as well as you're diving into this deeper essence?
For me, I've changed a lot just to start with now, I'm not a huge fan of materialistic things or which are surrounding me. You won't see me using iPhone. You won't see me using gadgets like people would love to. I don't love to. I love walking rather than riding or driving a car because I don't have a car these days. I don't want to keep it. That's what happened, and you won't believe in you know, there are certain changes which happen, and that happened for good. Definitely, all of the changes that has happened are good. But the main thing, I used to be pretty aggressive in my life. I used to be pretty aggressive, and I used to get irritated immediately with things and all the stuff. I used to get frustrated. On this journey, you won't believe I've given up on meat. Haven't had meat for more than 10 years now. And you won't believe I've calmed down. I'm a polite person now. Absolutely polite. I'm not into alcoholic realm at all. No alcohols for me. Simple sweet water. That helps me. No teetotaler. No coffee. A pretty simple life for me. I love to be in nature. I love to eat fruits a lot rather than having cooked food. These are the materialistic changes, but the changes within me, what happened is that I started getting connected to my own eternal self. I started hearing my eternal self all together. Every time I take a decision, I always get answer within me rather than asking someone else or rather than searching for an answer. I do talk to trees and the trees and plants do respond to me.
Mm.
Yes, they do answer. Patience has come into me a lot. I've learned to be patient in each and everything. If something is not happening, I know that it's not happening today, but it's going to happen in the future. Why can't I keep why can't I keep some patience for it? Yes, I can do it. A tree when it when it germinates from seed, definitely it's going to take some years to give you fruit or flowers, isn't it?
Mhm.
That's what I have learned through spirituality. There are certain tools I have been using to make these changes within me. I do follow yoga, meditation a lot. Then I do follow certain rituals which are different than our normal routine. I do follow all those stuff.
Yes, I love when you were talking about this simple life and your smile and radiance. I can see that was really your highlight that I'm just me, I'm living a simple life, and that's beautiful. That is beautiful to see. And then it's to realize that everything is consciousness, that there's a consciousness in the tree, the flowers, this table. I had this discovery as well. I saw a discarded sofa on the side of the road, and I said to the sofa, "I'm sorry that you were discarded." And I just felt the sofa say, "It's okay. I lived my purpose."
Right. Love that answer. Love that. See, I used to be when I was in university and I was working in corporate. I was a very gadgety person. Even I used to have lots and lots of gadgets all around me. If you would have seen me 15 years ago, you would see me carrying a huge bag all around my shoulder. I would have my mobile phone, my PSP, my Walkman and Discman and all the stuff, lots of CDs and all the stuff. But when you start asking yourself, do I really need that to entertain myself? Do I really need all these materialistic things to make my life happier? When you start asking these questions to yourself, when you start listening to your eternal self, you would get an answer no. All you need to entertain yourself is nature all around you, right? Listen to bird chirping. That's the best song for you to relax. Look at the plants and trees when they dance through the breezes and heavy winds. You get a lot to learn from nature. And when you know your eternal self, the best sound to hear or to relax is your inner self, right? Just meditate. When you meditate, you start listening all the sound, you start getting indulged into yourself, right? So that's pretty important. And for me, I realized people say you have realized these things early, but I don't think so. I have realized these things pretty early because I still think my life seems to be pretty short. I need to learn a lot.
Right. A lot to learn, a lot to be of this moment. But it's interesting, my own personal experience, maybe I want to see if you experience this as well when you're learning to be in the present moment and you're hearing all the sounds. Have you found your senses heightened as well when you quieted the mind down and you were just here?
When I meditate, and if I have to listen to myself, I meditate, and I love to meditate sitting under a tree. That's the best. That's the best place for me because it helps me connect immediately. When I start meditating slowly and steadily, I don't feel anything. I don't feel my body at all. I'm out of my senses,
Hmm,
and I start hearing myself within. That's
right,
how. But yes, to your answer, I don't feel anything.
right. You're just Brahman. You're just the
You transcend yourself, I would say.
you let go of the exterior world for your happiness.
Absolutely.
I'm really curious why people started calling you Devashara. Why did they start giving you that name? How were you teaching them?
So, you, as I told you, I've been researching Indian culture, and you won't believe that life coaching seems to be pretty new to Western world, but life coaching has been there in Indian Puranas and ancient literature, right? So I noticed one thing: the way life coaching used to happen, it used to happen with certain practical tools. Let's say meditation was one of them, yoga, then there are certain other techniques and tools which have been used for coaching. So I'll make a program, Arambakam, which means the start. I started this program involving all these tools and technicals rather than coaching people just through asking questions. I started coaching people through some practical tools, and that worked with most of them. When it started working, people came to know that okay, he's a person and he's helping us. So when I start talking in a workshop or webinar, they say I speak like a god, like a sage. That's how they started calling me Deva as a god, and Acharya is a person who teaches or pass on the knowledge. So they think that I'm a person who pass on the knowledge. And I'm a man of God. Though I tell them I'm not a god, I'm just a normal human being, just like you. But they want to call me that. They most most of my clients they say that we love to call you with that name. It sounds pretty Indian and pretty ancient. That's what they say.
Right, but there's a deeper wisdom that comes through when you're not operating from the mind, when you're operating from this essence. It's just a deeper wisdom that comes through. And I too, when I'm talking to people, I don't like to chase thoughts with more thoughts. I want the thoughts to calm down, not add more noise.
That see, this is how I am because I love to be unique, you know, because I don't want to follow what others are following. What's better I can do, right? If I have to just do a life coaching what the other person is doing, then there is no difference. There would be just a difference of ask the way you ask questions, right?
Mm.
There won't be any major difference between us at all. So I thought that I need to do something unique that will help people, right? So I got my approach, and it's not that I just started my program. I consulted and I shared my program with certain gurus and spiritual teachers, and they were happy with it. I got an approval from these people, and thereafter I started promoting it.
Mm. So you're having these tools to help them remember their essence and various techniques to help them
Absolutely.
remember who they are.
So I help people to find the answers to this question: who they are. The first question what they come to me, most clients when they come to me ask, who am I? Can you answer that question? That's the first question they would ask.
Right.
And the second question would be, can you tell me the truth of my existence? Why I'm here? See, if I would answer you just on your face, you wouldn't trust me, right? You wouldn't trust a word at all. But
Hmm.
when I make you realize through practical tools, and when you practice it, you're going to experience it yourself, right? So I'm not answering it. It's you who are answering that question.
Right. I think
So
that is the better way to approach is through direct experience.
absolutely.
Then it gets more ingrained, if it's the direct experience. I just had some kind of helper remind me your perfect spirit, but that was just my own essence as well.
Don't think so.
So what was your take? Who do you think that was or is when I heard perfect spirit? When I inquired, I heard a voice say perfect spirit, and then my whole world shifted.
See, it depends on what's the definition of perfect for you,
The way I would see
right?
perfect is the pure consciousness, purity.
Absolutely. Pure consciousness. That's what I wanted to talk about because when you say perfect, the normal definition is to be the best in this world, known as best and known as perfect, right? So when you say a pure soul, definitely you can be a pure soul. It's up to you how you purify it. Right. Now, purifying your soul doesn't mean that, oh, I'm an alcoholic. I've been drinking alcohol a lot all the days and abusing others and all those stuff. No, definitely. That's not at all being a purified. That's not a pure soul at all. Pure soul is a person who would love to be in peace and who would love to keep everyone around him in peace, right? To help everyone find happiness in tiny things rather than looking for a big happiness, right?
Mm.
Happiness is nothing. You can't find in big things at all. Happiness in big things you would find, but that would be just for a moment or maybe a day or two. But the tiny things where you would find happiness, that would be throughout your life, right?
Mhm.
Because that's the parts of your life. If you're happy, your surrounding is happy. If you are pure, believe me, you will make your surrounding pure. I won't say it's easy to be that. I wouldn't say it's difficult, but yes, you can be a pure soul. It's not impossible.
That's who we are at our deepest essence is this purity, then life interferes with that, but we can get back to our true nature. I was always puzzled who or
Mm.
what said that voice to remind me of my essence.
You will believe, I would love to share one experience with you, if you don't mind. One of my clients, he came for a couple of sessions and told me that, in short, they call me Deva. So they say, Deva, hey, I have practiced. I wasn't doing meditation, and all of a sudden, someone called me. When I opened my eyes, there was no one around. So I asked that person, how did that person sounded to you? Oh, that sounded just like my voice, but the tempo was something else. So what did that voice wanted to tell you? He said, oh, I just heard my name and I opened my eyes. I was quite afraid and scared. I said, why you were scared about it? He said, no, I thought that would be a spirit around me. I said, no, it was you. So these things happen. Some people, they they are scared when they start hearing something and think they're getting into some psychic conditions, or they think they need a psychiatrist. That happened with a couple of my clients. They went to see a psychiatrist and came back to me and they told me, Dave, we did go to a psychiatrist, we checked everything and everything was normal. And they just told us that the vibrations are pretty high. So I said, okay. So that's who you are. They always congratulate them. So congratulations. Welcome to the spiritual world. You have started your journey.
Right. Yep. Because I was in a point in my life that I was open to hearing that where it didn't cause fear. Earlier me that was sick would be like, oh no, now I'm getting schizophrenic. I'm hearing voices. It was just a reassurance, a reminder. Oh, I'm really speaking to myself, reminding me outside of the mind, beyond the thoughts, your soul is pure.
Absolutely right. And see, for me, it was new at all because from my childhood, I used to talk to trees, and I don't know why, but I always hear voices from trees and the way they speak, just like humans. So when I heard my own voice for the first time, it did not amaze me at all. But yes, I was amazed that I achieved it. I was amazed because I achieved it, but I wasn't amazed that I'm hearing my eternal self. So it was an achievement for me. I was pretty excited and I just went to my guru here in India and I told my guru, I heard myself. And the best part is, my guru was like, hmm, okay, that's it. And I wasn't a question. How could he do that? I told him that I have achieved something and he's just, okay, that's it. He was pretty polite. When the days passed, I came to know why responded that way to me, is because he just didn't want me to get excited at all. Because when you get excited, you get off road,
Mm.
which is not good for you. See, this is one of the challenges. This is one of the challenges people get into because they get excited during the spiritual journey, which is not good. You need to take that as a stepping stone. You need to know. See, spirituality doesn't mean you get out of everything. Spirituality means you need to know how to control yourself. It's not just controlling your emotion, but controlling your whole body or controlling yourself, your thought. People, and now the biggest question from everyone watching or listening to this, can you stop thoughts coming into your mind? Can you do that? You can't. You can't stop thoughts, getting thoughts into your mind, but you can control them. Now, when I say when I say you can control them, that means keeping your positive thoughts alive and converting negative thoughts to positive. Once you have positivity within you, you won't believe everything would turn into positive for you.
Yep, that's actually it, that we're always thinking the mind's always turning thoughts. It's like my background for people that can see it. The background I have is a sky with clouds. We are the sky itself, and the clouds are just the temporary situation, the thoughts, the challenges of life, but they will pass and the sky will remain.
Absolutely.
So I think that's an important point that spirituality is about being neutral, that life itself is neutral and the mind has all sorts of opinions about it. But when you stay in the neutrality or peace or calm, you can better respond to situations. Is this where you help your clients? Like when you're calm, you better respond?
Yes, that's one of the factor. That's one of the factor, but it's also you need to understand the client has come to you not just for an answer, but to transform themselves. Right. To transform themselves, you need to get into a calmer and polite posture, not from outer side of yourself, but from your inner self too. That's how it is. Because sometimes what happens is when a lady, especially these things happens with females, when you get a female client, they come to you and they start discussing their problems and they get emotional, and it's pretty difficult. When someone is emotional in front of you, it's pretty difficult to handle that because when you're into spirituality, you're so delicate with your emotions and thoughts that you can catch anyone's emotion immediately. If someone is crying, you start thinking, oh, poor little thing, person is crying. You need to understand that you're here to help your client, not just to help them control their thoughts or give them a solution, but to transform them. For me, being a Vedic spiritual coach, if this person has come to me and is doing my course, I would make sure that my client should be self-dependent after doing my program, and they shouldn't come back to me or to go to any other coach for future help because they are the best person to know their answers, right?
That's exactly my philosophy too. I don't want followers. I want people to stand in their own truth and live their life.
Absolutely. See, people do say that. But most of my colleagues who are life coaches, they do ask me, "You aren't doing any business with your life coaching?" I say, I am not a Vedic spiritual coach to do business. I'm here to help because I know when I help others, others will help me.
Right.
That's how it's going to be.
Hmm.
I'm here to help others. I would love to help that person. And that's my philosophy and my first rule that if someone comes to me, I don't want to go them to any other coach after doing my program or course. I just want them to be self-dependent because they need to know the answers themselves rather than coming to any other coach or even to me. They shouldn't come back to me.
Yeah, in my view, that's the mark of a true teacher. A true teacher wants you to find your answers, your path forward. They know that they don't have your answer because you're living this life. So ultimately, you have the answer. But
Absolutely.
then we're taught throughout society not to trust yourself. They always are seeking external validation. Am I right? And I think that's this big trust aspect that we have. Are you seeing that as well?
For me, it has stopped happening. For my clients, it has been happening. I do get these kind of clients a lot these days. Don't trust themselves and need external help to confirm everything. It used to happen to me before I got into spirituality, but now I don't need anyone else to confirm it because I have the power of Vedas and Puranas. I know that whatever I'm doing is I'm on the right path of my life. I know that because see, I just want to use a reference from Puranas. When Puranas in Puranas, it's mentioned that your body is perishable, but your Atman, that's your Brahman, is not perishable at all. Right? It's immortal. So why should I think about perishable things a lot when I know how to keep my Atman or my Brahman or my soul pure, then definitely my perishable body is also pure.
Mhm.
The purity comes within. It's not. It's nothing to do with your outer body, right? So it doesn't mean that okay, I'm using certain kind of herbs or certain kind of soap to pure myself. No, that doesn't mean that's you're cleansing yourself over that. You need to cleanse yourself within,
Mhm.
right? And for my clients, I'd help them in finding answer to these questions because lots of people have this problem. They don't trust themselves and need external help. This happens with my coaching program too. When a client comes to me, they come for a discovery call, and you won't believe they would call the person who referred me to them and confirm, did this happen with you too on your discovery call?
Yeah.
Part and parcel of this world.
Mhm. I think another important point that people have a problem with is discerning what is my true voice versus the mental voice, the skill of discernment.
Yes. See, people have stopped listening to their own voices, That's what has happened. It's pretty difficult these days for people to listen to their inner self, but it used to be easier when there were no gadgets around. Now you have mobile phones and all those stuff. If you start feeling slightly feverish, all of a sudden you will take your mobile, go to Google and just Google it. Why I'm feeling feverish. You start becoming your own doctor. You start finding medicine and remedies or start curing yourself. Earlier, when you used to feel slightly feverish, definitely you used to walk down the path and go to a visitor site and ask the doctor, like, a bit feverish today. What should I do?
Right? If you had this practice, you could say, my body's feeling feverish, what's going on, and see what arises.
Yes, that's a pretty right answer. But what happens is that people take it negatively. They don't take it positively.
Mm,
That's the reason why you Google it. When you start using Google and you start searching for it, you don't believe yourself. You start taking it negatively and finding answers, isn't it? But you should start asking yourself, why I'm feeling feverish? What is the reason? Right?
mhm.
No one does that these days. And yes, I would love to add over here, you won't believe that one of the change in my life is that it's been definitely 10 years. I'm out of modern medicine. Haven't taken a single pill or any kind of modern medicine at all. I'm all into Ayurveda and herbs and nutrition. That's it.
So when you're talking there, what I was thinking is that your Brahman is the ultimate Google. It's connected to all things. The answers are within, connected to all that is.
You can call it as Google. I call it your motherboard. It's your
Mm.
mother because that's where you get all the power and stuff to do. And Google, that's your mind, your brain. That's Google because when you ask yourself a question, your motherboard powers your mind, and it starts searching for the answer. And when it starts searching for the answer, you get a reply from Google and goes to your motherboard, and your motherboard answers.
Yes, you can see that. I always tell people sometimes they get too trapped in their mind. They're starting to try to figure things out or trying to understand that the mind can create some kind of interference. I'm
Absolutely,
always trying to get people to think less, relax more, and trust themselves more.
absolutely.
So, how would people reach out to you to work with you?
Oh, people can reach out to me through my Facebook page. Like I will definitely send you my details. People can contact me through WhatsApp. I do have my international states number. They can WhatsApp me anytime. I'm a person who works 24 by 7. So I work all around the clock. I do sleep, but I know when I have to sleep. Anyone who would love to take my guidance or consultation or take my sessions, they can call me. They can call me on my WhatsApp. They can message me. They can drop a direct message on my Facebook Messenger. They can also visit my website.
Okay, perfect. They'll be in the show notes. But as we're wrapping
Absolutely.
up here, what's one last nugget of wisdom you would impart onto this audience?
Start believing yourself. Don't think of anything else. It's you who is going to make the change. If you would love to experience spirituality, even for a minute or so, I would love to tell you that. Please take a walk in nature and you would start feeling spirituality within yourself.
That's beautiful. Just a simple walk. Keep it simple and just enjoy life. Well, thank
That's
you,
like,
Deva, for your time. Really appreciate it. So beautiful, your light.
thank you. Namaskar.